Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Let's talk a little bit about Sincere McCormick on a UTSA running back number 3. You're going to see this play here where he cuts the play back to the middle, then bounces a little bit further outside and gets decent yardage on the play. Now, what I like about this play is that it's indicative of something that I see with him on a regular basis, which is the ability to deal with downhill penetration. You know, when defenders penetrate early as you're taking the exchange, you need to be able to identify that and have a solution for it. So I like here that as he takes this exchange, that he can see the defender working inside here and having the leverage advantage. And as he takes this exchange and sees that defender really making progress against his lineman, he's able to drop his weight a little bit here and bend downhill. Now I see also that's something that's a repeat thing with McCormick's play that's a positive, is the ability to transition downhill with basically one step. No real prep step needed at all to go from a sideline to sideline direction to a downhill direction. You can just plant and go. And he does this well between the tackles. I still need to see how he does when he gets outside the tackles and has a long runway, but he can be seamless with getting downhill. The other thing is that oftentimes when you have to use good footwork, it's not because you're trying to avoid someone reaching for you or shooting for your legs. It can be your teammates, your blockers, and trying to get, stay close to them and cut back inside of them, but avoid their feet. So I love the fact that right here he has the footwork to lift his knees up and jump and avoid the feet of his blocker, land downhill, angle it back inside the next blocker, and then right here, watch him open his hips. He's going to point the toe. See how he extends the legs out, points the toe, and he gets the toe flat here. That allows him to turn his hips at a sharp angle. So he's doing some nice work in succession with his feet. The transition downhill, the leap. 2 steps later, 2 to 3 steps later, opens the hips. Gets outside this defender. See how he tries to keep his feet up and kick them up. Maybe he doesn't kick them too high, but he does a good job of being able to avoid this linebacker, get downhill, squeeze between 2 defensive backs, and get some extra yardage here. McCormick isn't a big runner, but he runs with good pad level and he can work through contact. He relies a lot on the spin move to work through defenders, especially in the secondary. He likes to finish with the spin so that he can extend through contact. But I like the fact that he also knows how to get his pads down, and he will attack defenders and not just go for the spin. He will drive his legs. He understands how to press a crease, work towards that inside where the double team was, feel that leverage by the defender on the outside, cut it back inside, and drop his pads. Here's the linebacker, drops his pads in the linebacker, spins off that towards where his blocker is, and is able to create open space with that spin. Then he gets downhill here, makes a nice little juke inside out, finds some space, and the backside linebacker is able to catch him and wrap him up. You'll see where number 8 starts here. Here's number 8 right over here. He's shifted in. He's got the club on his hand here. You can see him work to the inside here. He's the original penetrator that McCormick is able to work away from and make miss, and then spin away from that hit or spin off the hit. And here's number 8 still chasing here as McCormick works inside back out. This is another nice run. You're going to watch him run counter here, where you're going to have 2 pulling linemen working to the left. You see the counter step to the right by McCormick right there. It's a small step, but he gives a little bit of turns his shoulder, kind of gives the hint of looking to the outside, to the right side, comes back. Now here's your 2 blockers. What he does nice is pressing the back blocker here into the, pressing towards that blocker number 70 and working downhill of him. That gets the linebacker and the safety in position where he can work inside. That blocker can reach him, and then he can open the toe and the hips, point the toe outside, open the hips, and accelerate around that defender, and then get outside here for 13 yards. So there's nice patience with this counterplay. Nice setup with the backside puller, getting downhill of him so that he can get the defender to come downhill on him, and then he can make the open hip turn really just within inches of the reach of that defender and get outside, and that's where he gets most of his yards because he pressed that crease well and he set up the block. McCormick is a good zone runner. He can be better. And I say that because when he has a wide open crease, he tends to take what's that open space immediately rather than continuing to press the crease a little longer where he could really bleed the run for every yard he can get. Because you're going to watch here as he works towards this outside, and he's got these three blockers working outside, and you can see very clearly that number 4 is really pushing hard to the outside. So keep pressing that. But he sees this opening right here. Big opening. There's the double team here. And he spots that and he's like, let me just get downhill. So he immediately plants and gets downhill. If he continues another 2 to 3 steps outside, not only does he get the block on number 8 here, which is going to happen probably anyway, but it's going to get 41, the safety, to come downhill harder to the outside. This should open this crease wider for him to be able to cut back through. So instead of being downhill here, heading downhill, and now 41 has a direct angle on him, and 95 looks like he's going to be able to slide into the picture here, he could continue another probably 2 to 3 steps forward, get 41 really to get another 3 to 4 yards downhill towards the right, and then when he cuts back, 41 won't have the angle anymore. And then he can really go to town. But instead, that cutback inside already, now look where he's at. 41's got the angle cut off. Now he's got to make a move early. And 95 has freed from his block, and he ends up being the one to make the wrap. This is a 4-yard gain. But when you look at this play and see how it's set up, we'll look at it from both angles one more time. But from this angle, you can see with all the room that he has here to continue downhill, at least another 2 to 3 steps before even 23 might have a shot to get clear of his outside block. He should get another 3 to 5 yards out of this at least, maybe a lot more if he can beat 41 further to that inside here. Because who else is here? Who else is here? Maybe this defender way back here on the left. But if he beats 41 and 95 isn't even allowed to get into the picture, this is a big gain. Let's look at it again from this angle. Because here's 41. Keep pressing this outside. These defenders are going to get blocked out here. So really it's just this backside safety. If he continues to press it further out here, 41 comes down. He makes his cutback and beats 41 with because 41's further to the left. The only guy that he's got is this backside safety, and the deep angle the safety has, he probably scores on this play. Overall, McCormick is a solid runner. I mean, this is a guy with a decent low center of gravity. He's a good finisher. He has good footwork, and he does understand the zone game, how to cut back. You can see him here. Avoid the penetration of the defender here. Now you could think that he could press a little bit deeper again into this crease. And you see the safety coming up here, but he gets within about 2 to 3 steps of the line of scrimmage. And this defender here is getting off, in terms of his leverage, has the advantage inside here. So McCormick, for the most part, understands the principles of press and cut. And that's a good thing to work with for a running back, when you're talking about a guy who can work between the tackles. And when he can successfully manipulate a safety like this one downhill, he can bend it away and get you some nice gains. So he's going to identify the opportunities with creases. It's just a matter of how confident he is in being able to use his footwork and his burst to really press the crease in an optimal fashion. When he can do that, he can be a very effective player. He catches the ball well. Pass protection, right now, it seems that his blocks occur more by accident than by design. And what I mean by that is that he tends to spot guys in pursuit of a quarterback after the quarterback already has to leave the pocket. Doesn't seem to spot the early opportunities to help out on the correct assignments. And once he can do a little bit better with identifying pressure, then we can start talking about his technique. But overall, I think McCormick is probably a draftable prospect. He certainly is a player who can run the football. And, with the right fit with the team, he can be a contributor. If he can build on his game, maybe he can be a significant contributor for a running game. Reminds me a little bit of, Jalen Richard without the third down skills at the high of a level that Jalen Richard has them. But maybe something to work with. Maybe a little like Devin Singletary in the sense that he has good vision and he's a good finisher. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.